Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Workforce Debates by HRBOX Africa. As usual, we are so excited to see you. Thank you for joining and joining in on time. As usual, we are streaming live from different platforms. So if you are watching us from YouTube, hey, if you're on LinkedIn as well, please let us know where you're tuning in from. And we are going to start this debate in just a few seconds. So if you're new here, allow me to welcome you. I know for some of you, this is the first time interacting with HRBOX Africa, the brand. So allow me to just very quickly introduce who we are and what we do. At the core of what we believe is that empowered people do excellent work. And that is simply our mission here at HRBOX Africa. It's really to empower your people to do excellent work. And we do that through two ways. First, through our software that enables you to better manage your employees. We have software modules that encompass an employee's life cycle, like from when they're hired to when they retire. So we have the ATS, the payroll, leave management. So if you're in the market for HR software, look no further, you have found us. And the other way is through our HR services. So we have a team of HR consultants who we pair with different organizations, and they come on board to help them curate work cultures that help them thrive. So if you are also in the market for HR services, you're looking for a HR service provider, you have found us. Look no further. Now, I know most of you are here for the debate, so I will not waste too much time. We'll go straight to the debate. But even before then, I want to know where everybody stands. If you're watching us from YouTube, I know there's a comment section. So let us know, what motion? Are you opposing the motion? Are you supporting it? Do you really think that recruitment practices and processes currently are outdated and gatekeep talent? Because that is the motion that we're currently working on today. So I know we have the team of debaters. They are super pumped. They're excited. They promised that it will be a bloodbath. So I'm super excited to see how it goes. And I want to know from everyone. So even as the debate continues, we'll have a time where we will be getting some questions from the audience as well, and then we will be forwarding them to the debaters. So let us know. I want to go to YouTube real quick and see if there are any comments. I want to know where everyone stands. I see the team there is welcoming everybody, but let us know, where do you stand? As I wait for you to comment, if you're on LinkedIn, on YouTube, I want to invite the debaters. I know some of you came solely because you support your team. So you could be supporting the opposing team or the team that is supporting the motion. So let us know as well who you're supporting and what your thoughts are on the topic. I don't know if it's just me, but conversations around recruitment have really been, we've been having a lot of those discussions of late, and the reason why we decided to do this debate is really just to spark conversations, healthy conversations around the topic. I know the teams promised a bloodbath, but at the heart of it, and the reason why we decided to do these debates is really just to spark meaningful conversations around topics that are relevant to the workforce. I see John Gidaiga has said he's following. Which team are you supporting, John? Let us know as well. So even as you comment, let us know if you're supporting or opposing the motion. It will be really, really keen to know. So without further ado, and I should have cued the tech team to cue in some drums, but I'll do that myself. So without further ado, allow me to introduce the debaters to first and foremost give their opening statement. And then after that, we will go to the teams. We'll hear what the proposing team has to say, and then we'll also hear what the opposition has to say, and then we'll also give them an opportunity for a rebuttal. So both teams will have a few minutes to challenge what the other team has presented. So I'm really excited about that as well. And then afterwards, we will be getting your questions and then pointing them to either the debaters or the opposers. I've seen Bryson on LinkedIn. Bryson Mutuma, he said he's following. Karibu sana. Tell us, do you support or oppose the motion? I see Elizabeth Chepchumba on LinkedIn. She said she's right here. She's ready for the debate. Tell us, Elizabeth, what are you supporting or are you opposing the motion? All right, so without further ado, allow me to introduce Nkirote, Eric Kagose, Cynthia Casiera, and Oyamo Odari. Welcome, welcome. Are you guys ready? You are?
Yes, we are. Absolutely, yes.
You know, I have
Yes,
to ask.
yes, we are ready. We are born ready.
You're born ready. I love it. I love it. Kagose, are you ready?
As usual.
You know, funny thing. So we have a group where we were preparing for this conversation. So when I asked the debaters if they were ready, the memes that they sent, some are sending knives. So anyway, I cannot wait to hear what both teams have to say on the topic. So we're going to start with Nkirote. Just give us your opening statement. Tell us, are you supporting, are you proposing, and why?
It is LinkedIn language. I'm super thrilled to be here. My name is Nkirote Mwiti, also available as Nikki. I'm extremely thrilled to be our opposer to today's debate, not just as somebody in HR, but as someone who has seen and benefited from the way our recruitment processes have evolved over the years. So I'm opposing vehemently this motion that the current recruitment processes are not fair, future ready, or they're gatekeeping talent. That's not the case. Are they perfect? No, they're not. But to paint them as outdated or flawed ignores the tremendous improvement and changes that we've made to make sure that there's fairness, there's equity, and there's innovation. I have to read this statement. Prepare. Recruitment is not gatekeeping. It is opening doors wider than ever before to those with potential, passion, and promise. And I can't wait to prove that.
Oh, wow. It's opening doors. You said, when you said vehemently, I knew you were in for a treat. LinkedIn terms. I'm telling you, Kagose, Oyamo, I hope you're ready. All right, so we'll go to.
Yes, I am ready.
Give us your opening statement, Kagose. Do you support? Do you oppose? Where do you stand?
Okay. Of course, I oppose completely. I won't use vehemently. If only there was a stronger term than vehemently. But I am in agreement with Nikki that the current processes are working and they are great. The notion that it's gatekeeping talent, hapana tambua, mimi sikubali kabisa hayo maneno. I am not only as a HR, not only as someone who has done recruitment or someone who sits on the other side, but I am here to strongly defend current recruitment processes and just to give the other side of the recruitment process and why I think that it's not about the recruitment process. No. The recruitment process is not the problem. Thank you very much.
Ish, you said, of course.
Of course.
All right. I can't wait to hear the rest of your argument. I've seen you're trying to shy away from hitting us with the bombs straight away. So I love it. I'm ready. All right. So I know Cynthia is having some challenges with her network. So I hope she joins us. But there she is. But we'll go to Oyamo first and foremost, and then we'll finish with Cynthia. So Oyamo, opening statements. You're muted.
Oyamo, and for purposes of today, we are here to place the recruitment process on trial, not because we want to tear it down, but because we want to rescue it from the state of irrelevance. The world has changed. Innovation, I believe, has outspaced the learning institutions. And we can all agree that learning has left the four walls of our classrooms and it lives online these days. Yet the same people who are the gatekeepers of opportunity, people we've entrusted with spotting and nurturing talent, are still operating with the filters that are made from a different era. So basically, that is what we're here to show today.
I love that. I love how you've started off as very cool, very calm, collected. We know you are Yamo, but but I love that distinction. Or you're just okay. It's fine. Let me not give away too much. I see Cynthia is back. Yay, Cynthia. KPLC, I know imefanya ile kitu, but we are so happy that you have decided to join us in spite of the challenges. So let us know, what is your opening statement? Can you hear us, Cynthia? All right, so give us your opening statement. Where do you stand? Are you proposing? Did you change your mind? And are you now supporting or opposing the motion? We need to know where you stand. All right. Okay. So I think as we can give Cynthia time to just settle in. And while we do that, we can start with the opposing team. Are you okay with that? So Nkirote, I'll have to put Nkirote and Eric up on stage so that they can give us their arguments. Leave everything on the table. Don't spare anything. Let us know where you stand. So in the next 10 minutes, we'll allow you and Eric to plead your case. All right?
Okay.
Over to you, Nick.
So let me highlight the 5 reasons why I'm saying recruitment today is actually more fair, it's more inclusive, and it's more future focused than ever before. And I can't wait for our worthy opponents to rebut this. So the first thing is that the fact is that recruitment is now data driven and not gut driven. Actually, now we are saying we're doing insights, not instincts. So the structured interview processes that we now have, skill assessment, psychometrics, the various tests that many of you complain that you are having to go through are exactly what makes the recruitment process now data-driven, as opposed to before when it was more of your gut feeling and a bit subjective and not objective. So data, we are now heavily relying on data and not just our observations to make our decisions. We're making decisions based on evidence, on data, not just instinct or biases. Point number 1. Point number 2 is that our current recruitment processes are very much more inclusive. Diversity, inclusion, equity, they're not just buzzwords. They are ways in which we as recruiters are measured. We are measured by how inclusive our recruitment processes are, how equitable our teams are. We are measured by that. They're not just buzzwords, they're things that we are living through. How are we doing that? Sometimes we say we are assessing CVs blindly, no photos. We don't even want to know specific details that would make us biased. We want to concentrate on the content. We also do trainings for our panels so that they can be aware of their unconscious biases. So that, because we all have unconscious biases, and now we're very clear that our panels must be more diverse so that we don't have only male panels or only women panels or only technical panels. Our panels are much more inclusive. Number 3 is that our use of technology now has democratized access. That if you think of how we do remote interviews, you could be in Wajir, you could be in Baringo, you could be wherever you are, and interview, as opposed to before where now maybe you have to borrow money to get on a bus to come all the way to Nairobi for an interview. Now we are using technology to make recruitment more accessible to everybody. It doesn't matter wherever you are, even if you're interviewing for a job in Norway or in Dubai or wherever, using technology, we have made recruitment much more accessible to everybody. My other point as to why I say that our recruitment processes are evolving is that now we are actually considering input from the candidate. I know not everybody is doing this, but more and more people are doing this, where we ask the candidate, what has been your experience in the recruitment process? This is whether you get the job or not. We're asking you, what has been your experience? What could we do better? And we are using the feedback that candidates give us to make our recruitment processes better. So we're using feedback loops. We are asking candidates, tell us what can we do better. We are really working hard to improve on how we give status. I know many people will say, oh, recruiters ghost us and all of that, but honestly, we are working better. And I will give a reason why that seems to happen, why we seem to ghost people. So we're really working on feedback from the candidates. We're not looking at them as they simply want a job. No, we're looking at them as our clients and we're incorporating that feedback. I want to say that recruitment is evolving constantly. If it wasn't, why then do we have people being able to work in any part of this world, as opposed to before? So it's not true that recruitment is outdated or that it's flawed. No, it is constantly evolving to meet the various needs of the new generation, hybrid working, gig economies. Recruitment is evolving constantly. So it's not just transforming. I want to now leave Kagose to add a bit of more points as I come back with more.
Thank you very much, Nikki. That is very, very interesting, and I agree with you. All the points that you said, I agree with you. But I'll just take a slightly different perspective, not to really look at the process, but maybe to throw in a spanner just to support this motion. And one of the things that I usually ask is, all of us, or majority of us, employed or those who want to be entrepreneurs, we'll ask this question: what is the most important asset of an organization? And we may unanimously agree that people are the most important talent. People are the most important resources in an organization. And so the other question is I would ask and throw is what is usually the cost of probably hiring or retaining an employee, or what is the cost of releasing a poor hire or a bad hire? And you, from an investor side of it, you say that the cost of letting go an employee who perhaps is not fitting well, or who perhaps was not done through the correct recruitment process, is costly to the organization. And so when we sit back and say that we design recruitment processes based on a certain criteria, we are looking at it two ways. Number one, we are looking at it from the angle of safeguarding an institution to get the best of talent that they can get, safeguarding the institution from getting the best, because we realize that the cost of talent is not easy. The cost of having the right people in the organization is not easy. And the cost of having the wrong people, my goodness, you know very well that it's also chaotic. The drama that comes with having to let go of a bad hire is just on the other side of life. So that is one aspect of it. So the recruitment processes that you are putting in place is not just only walking out of your door and then saying, "Hey, you guys, I'm hiring so and so." So everybody comes in like, "Yeah, we have a job here." No. We have some things that we have to safeguard. We have an organization to have to safeguard, and for us to safeguard that organization, because we as HR or as an organization, we are custodian of someone else's money. And investors come to us and told us, "You know what? I want to do this thing, and I want the best people to come and work for me." So there's no way we can just have some funny processes looking the way we want, and we expect that anybody will carry the day. So that, for that reason, I'm strongly agreeing that the recruitment processes currently in place are able to support the other side of the organization. Secondly, and just to be a bit political, kidogo too, is one of the problem why we are saying that recruitment is gatekeeping talent. One of the arguments why we are saying that recruitment is gatekeeping talent is because we probably argue that people don't get jobs, that people are not getting jobs, that they are applying and applying and applying, and we're not getting jobs, that you're not getting feedback, and you know what, HR is doing a bad job because you're not getting jobs. But I want to shift the question, the question to the other direction. Pili is here. Pili is a recruiter. And I was just asking her, just to prepare for this conversation, I was asking her if she opens up a role. The other week she was recruiting for, I think, a sales manager, something. And so I was asking her, for that one role that she opened up, how many people applied? She needed one person or two people. And the number of CVs that she got 600 applications for one role. I have done recruitments looking for 20 people, and I get 30,000 applications. And so out of this, I only need 20 people. I have 30,000 applications. So out of these 30,000, only 25 people are going to be successful. The other 29,975 will come back and say, you know what, that recruitment was not fair. HR is gatekeeping talent. You know, these guys are not looking at us. Because why? Because there's an imbalance between the labor market and the jobs that are applicable, the jobs that are available. The other time I was passing somewhere around, I think Eastern Bypass, and I think it's KDF or something. There's a camp there. They had asked for people to come, and you know, my goodness, for a whole week, the entire road was full of traffic. You can't pass. Everybody's there, and everybody wants that job. And so sometimes when you're saying that the processes are gatekeeping talent, perhaps we need to ask ourselves the right question. And so the right question is, if I have one job and I have 1,000 people apply for that job, everybody will say that, you know, oh, it has to be favoritism. You don't have to know someone, you know, you have to pay someone, or you have to do. But ideally, the problem is not that we are doing the wrong things. The problem is there is that dynamics between the market and the labor. And so that's why someone will come and complain things are not working. No, things are really working. It's just that we have an imbalance somewhere. Let me stop it there and then allow the opponents to come back. I'll come back with more hot comments here. I'm waiting for you guys. Let me hear what you guys have to say.
I love it. I was just writing notes as well. And yes, it's true. For that one role, I can confirm one role, we had almost 600 applicants. So there could be an imbalance. I don't know. We'll hear from the team that is proposing the motion. So at this point, I'd like to welcome the team that is supporting our motion for today. That is Oyamo and Cynthia. So I'll give them, because Cynthia, we did not give you a chance to make your opening statement. You're just going to combine it, and we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Oyamo. 5 minutes each. Give us your points. Where do you stand? I know you guys are on fire, so I'm really waiting to hear and learn from you as well. So over to you, Cynthia.
Okay, hi, hello everyone. I'm excited and I'm honored to be here supporting the motion that recruitment processes are not future ready and gatekeeping talent. And the reason why I support this is because let's just be honest. We are dealing with a system that expects candidates to still to share the CVs, then still fill out the same details in the ATS form. How fair is that when you've already shared everything that needs to be covered on a CV and still share and still be required to fill the same tedious process over and over again? So for me, I feel like we should build a system that is inclusive. It's an inclusive workplace, and we should just face out with outdated filters that really discourage, demotivate, and exclude our candidates from applying to jobs and just being capable candidates. And this is not a call out, it's just a call forward. So that's my opening statement. I'll take it back to Oyamo so that he can start us off.
All right. I started with my opening statements by saying learning already left the four walls of the classrooms, and today it lives online. And we're not here today to tear down the recruitment process, but I mean, we're here to rescue it from the state of irrelevance that it is in. And I will go straight to the point. We are told to be dynamic, multi-skilled, and adaptable. And honestly, many of us are. We run small businesses, we freelance, we learn from the YouTube, coding cafes, and even juggle family and work, right? But when we apply for works, we are met with outdated criteria like you have to have your bachelor's, you have to have their lengthy job histories, and there's a formal etiquette that prioritizes polish over potential. We are again told to believe in diversity, yes, yet we see the same thing over and over in the shortlists. All right. We are told this system is fair, as our opponents say. These same jobs seem to go to the same connections, certain accents, and even certain degrees from elite institutions. We are told to be innovative, yet the process does not allow us to demonstrate our innovation unless it fits a certain conventional box. So basically, we are not saying the HR professionals are the enemy. No, we seriously have a problem with the system, which has automation biases and structured interviews, and even some of the gatekeeping habits that we are going to demonstrate. And I'm very sure majority of us will agree. And no one should mistake us for for looking for pity. We're just asking for a fair chance to be seen beyond our papers and to be seen beyond our polished speeches, and to measure us by impact and not the way we package us. Because a lot of the times people get recruited not because they of the value that has been seen in them. It's because of maybe how best they've practiced for that particular interview, how well they've coached themselves. So think about someone who probably is an introvert, someone who probably somehow maybe it's a techie who's struggling with communication skills. So if recruitment is truly about matching value to opportunity, then let's stop pretending that our current system is doing that. It is time we reimagine the whole process so that we can have fairness, inclusion, and a future that we all are actually reflecting. So quickly, I just want to break down a few points, and especially I'll start with the academic requirements. All right. A lot, and this is study you can get online. A lot of Kenyan youths learn coding. I'll give a few examples of courses people learn online. There's coding, there's design, digital marketing through platforms like LX and even YouTube, right? But every time you're going to look for a job description, every time you're looking for a job description that is out there, they still demand for bachelors, and sometimes they even go further to demand a bachelor from certain institutions. How is that fair? All right? Talent is overlooked simply because one does not come from a certain traditional package. All right? So these our opponents mentioned unconscious bias. All right? Sorry. So, and this bias, we would trickle it down to names, accents, gender, and even backgrounds to filter candidates. Talking from an experience, I've had issues where I was not given a fair chance because my name is Oyamo, and I'm in a country where your name has to start with K, or maybe it has to start with S, or probably someone didn't like my Luo accent, right? Right? And they went further to say that there is tech that helps them to do these filters. What we're really forgetting is that this technology, this AI, is trained by human beings. AI is a reflection of what we are actually inputting. The output it gives is exactly the input you're giving. So you cannot use AI as an excuse in this case. And another thing, interviews measure confidence and not competence. So if one was to have all the confidence in the world and walk in an interview, there are chances they are likely to secure that slot over someone who's actually competent. Because in an interview, you're really never given an opportunity to showcase the real work, right? So as we all can agree, many roles are awarded based on the vibe or the cultural fit, all right? And this is a bias that affects people who are introverts, all right? Individuals who don't have an opportunity to have a coaching on how to do an interview. And another thing why I think the current system has an issue is because if today I was to take a career break and say, for example, I want to focus on family and leave the formal sector for a minute, chances are if I get back from that career break, I'm going to have an issue securing an opportunity because they are going to say that consistency shows reliability. But really, consistency isn't just about working for one company. The things why I took a break could also reflect how consistent I am to really solve issues and keep my family afloat, even for those 3 years that I was away, right? There's another thing on feedback and growth, right? We've been lied here openly, and I'm surprised we all kept quiet that recruiters give feedback that helps most candidates on how to navigate through. But we all know, oftentimes than not, we are given generic feedback. And when we set out to have this process, to have this debate, I tried making a certain applications to certain institutions, and for purposes of just allow me not to share the names of the institutions, but if I can compare the 3 institutions I've gotten feedback, it is one and the same feedback that we are sorry, we cannot hire you at the moment. We've decided to go with the previous with certain candidates, but they're not giving me constructive feedback to help me grow. And for one, me, I think that is a problem. We need detailed feedback. If you think I am not fit, tell me why. Make it specific, personalize that feedback. And at this point, I think I'll go back to my colleague to air out the other points, and we'll get back. There's really much about this. Cynthia, back to you.
Hi. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. Just to add processes that are outdated candidates based on their current and last payslip. I think this process is quite outdated and it will tickle a lot of feathers, is because it's these individuals to ask for a candidate's salary expectation when there's already a pre-approved budget. And I think most of us can agree on that. Why is it that we need to disclose, as a candidate, we need to disclose our salary information on what we used to earn, so that you can share the budget with us for what you can share the budget with us. We commonly say that salary information is private. How comes we draw the line when it comes to interview sessions? And why not lead with transparency, yet you expect the candidate to have transparency with you? I personally believe this is a double standard in the recruitment industry, and we should focus on paying the candidate on their value rather than what they used to earn and what they expect, because already there's this pre-approved budget. So why again have this back and forth with a candidate on what is your current salary? Can you share your pay slips with us? What was your former salary? Why is this a common, and I'd like to understand and throw it back to the opposers, why is it a common question in interview processes, which is really frustrating on a candidate to really understand what is the budget? So it's a guesswork between the candidate and the recruiter. And yet the recruiter knows the budget and has a pre-approved budget. These budgets don't just come out of nowhere. For you to hire for a role in the company, you must have given a budget or have been given a budget that is already approved. Why not lead with that before? Then negotiate with a candidate from where is this budget really what I want, or does it fit my value as per the moment? Okay, so moving on to another outdated process that I feel is quite tiresome and tedious, and I will reiterate it again as it was part of my opening statement, is the need to share cover letters. Cover letters are really tedious to do. And I know people will say we have AI to help us with this process. However, why is there a need for a cover letter that still will not be read and is not really a prerequisite of the recruitment process, as per my opinion? A CV is enough, and that's why I feel like there are interviews. Interviews are there formally so that you can better understand you can better understand the qualifications, the work history of the candidate, and better understand this candidate so that you can understand if he or she fits the role. So why have this redundant process that you will still cover in the interview process? Also, another point is the culture fit and culture add. Why not focus on a culture add? I just had a recent conversation with a friend where a recruiter of the recruitment team told them that they are too joyous for the role, or they are too joyous. Isn't that biased? Don't you think that is very biased? And we should focus more on the qualifications, what this candidate is bringing to the table, rather than their personalities. I understand we cannot all be the same, and that's why we hire different people. If we all were the same, what would be different? How would work be done differently, or who would even challenge outdated processes? So for me, those are quite the few outdated processes that would like to pose back to the opposing team to better understand why these processes are not being redesigned or reimagined from everyone's point of view, rather than just one end, the recruitment end, and there's the candidate end, who you still need. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Cynthia and Oyamo. You guys promised to bring the heat. And I don't know if it's just me, but it's really hot in here. But you've heard from both teams now, the team supporting the motion and the team that is opposing the motion as well. So we're going to give a few minutes to both teams. We are going to allow for a rebuttal session. So we'll start with Kirote and Eric. You've heard what the opposition has to say, the people who are supporting the motion. What is your say on the things that they have highlighted? They have mentioned that some of the processes that HR have are indeed outdated. Why are we gatekeeping salary information as HR proposed? Why are you requiring people to write cover letters if you're not going to read them? And so much more. So, and allow an opportunity for you to respond to what both Cynthia and Oyamo has said. And I'll also give the same amount of time to Oyamo and Cynthia to give their rebuttal as well.
So thank you very much, Cynthia and Oyamo. Those are very, very valid points. And just to set the tone for this bloodbath, we are here to learn from each other. Yes, in as much as we are here to win, but we are also here to learn from each other. And the points that you raised are extremely valid, I must say that. And the second thing I want to remind you is even us, we are candidates. In other situations, we are candidates. So some of the things that you raised are things we ourselves have experienced. But now only that being on the other side, we know why it's happening. We don't agree with everything that recruiters do, and I must say that. For example, I must say that I don't agree with the practice of asking people for their previous salary, because the truth is, yes, you do have a budget. Why not start the conversation from this is our budget? Then what are your expectations? I have to ask you what your expectations are. What I must say though is that money is a scarce resource, right? We are together, right? So because it is a scarce resource, we must approach that conversation as a negotiation. It is a scarce resource. Let me not say further about that money thing, because it is tricky, but I will say that what you need to work on is just showing your value. When you show your value, the story about what you are earning, what you're previously earning, does not even matter anymore. We want you so badly we are going to make it work. So I would say, as a candidate, just focus on being of such unmistakable value that we are no longer bothered about the budget, what you are earning or not earning, and that all of that. There's something you talked about. Cover letters. Why the need, Cynthia, why the need to have cover letters and all those other things that we ask, yet they are not read. I will say that having to write a cover letter, and I do read cover letters, especially for the people who are shortlisted, it's a way of judging your writing skills. Now, that said, I do know that you can get AI to assist you, but when it's obvious when you got AI to do all the work and when you simply used AI to assist you. So I will say that some kind of writing is good just to judge your writing skills. And please have this in mind, like my teammate Kagose mentioned, that the job market is so skewed. Like the demand far outweighs the supply. So we have to come up with ways then of getting from 600 to at least 20 people who now you can study intently. But now 600 people, you have to come up with ingenious ways of reducing this number. So that might inform why you find some of the recruitment process to be tedious and all. It's because the demand far outweighs the supply. So we have to think of ways of reducing this number down. There's something you, Cynthia, asked about the culture fit and the culture add. Let me give you an example of recruiting for a startup, right? The kind of mind frame you need to have to thrive in a startup is somebody who is comfortable with vagueness. Like your job today is this, tomorrow it's that, tomorrow it is 5 things, tomorrow it is 4 things. And you have to be of a particular mindset to actually thrive in that environment. If you're too structured, if let's say I interview you and I find you are extremely structured, nothing wrong with that, but you like things to be very clear. This is my job. Don't surprise me tomorrow with other things, and my work starts from this time to this time. So if you're extremely structured and I'm recruiting for a startup, I can see that you will struggle. So when we talk about somebody not being a culture fit, it's not a way of being biased or trying to eliminate them. It's just to make sure that they thrive and actually that they succeed in that role. So can you imagine that this person who likes structure, you're taking them to a place where they need to be comfortable with vagueness and lots of gray areas and moving pieces. They're going to be frustrated. So sometimes the culture fit is actually for your benefit, so that as I'm talking to you, I'm like, okay, you like this, you want to be on the limelight. Why should I give you a job that is in the back end? And sometimes as candidates, we forget that in our quest to simply land the job, there's more than after you've landed the job. Are you going to thrive? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to succeed? I don't want to give all the points. Oh yes, feedback. I was dying to talk about this one. Oyamo, we would love to give feedback. However, think about the 600 people who have applied. How possible is it that you will give feedback to all of them? Sometimes I also want to call someone and tell them, this email address you have used, pretty girl, you cannot have such an email address. You didn't even attach, your subject. I would love to do that, but it's simply not feasible. So then even when you have a small pool of, let's say, the 20 people you interviewed, you want to give them feedback. Sometimes you want to tell someone, next time, please dress like this, or speak up, or sit up, or these are the things that disadvantaged you, but it's simply not possible because of the number of people who apply. The kind of hand-holding that you would want to see is something a coach would better do, which is why we end up having to give generic responses, because now we are recruiting. Now I can't be a coach to everybody, in as much as that's something I would like to do. So it's simply a matter of time and the number of applicants. Let me leave the rest to Kagose.
Thank you very much, Nikki. On both sides, Oyamo, Cynthia, valid points. I agree with you to some extent, but just to give it a different perspective. Number one, for Nikki and Oyamo, and I'm sure Oyamo probably you will one day be sitting in if you sit in Pili's desk where she's now running a company. Or if you're already doing that already, or Cynthia, when you set yourself to look for someone to support your company, do anything. Let me take Pili. Pili is here. Thank you very much. You are going to be a good example, Pili. Pili is running HRBOX, and she wants HRBOX to thrive. She wants it to pick up. She wants it to move. She does not have a lot of money to be there just to dish out money for the sake of And so when she's going out to the market to look for, let's say, a technician or whatever, marketer or someone, she's going to look out for something who she feels is going to deliver what she wants to deliver. You understand? She has some level of standards. There's something she's looking out for. Having done recruitment for some time and having able to coach people and do professional talks and do professional coaching. One of the things that I found that I want to say with and myself, I'm sometimes a victim of this, is the casualness that we do when applying for a job, and the casualness we expect that the recruiter is supposed to give us the job. The entitlement, the entitlement, I almost say the audacity, but I've changed to the entitlement. The entitlement that we expect that, you know what, this job is mine and I have qualified. But sometimes we look at those CVs, you look at the CVs that someone has applied for the job and like, my goodness, what madness is this? What were they thinking about? And Nikki will tell you, if you're in a high recruiting industry, I have had the opportunity to sit in companies that hire and hire and hire. The people who are mostly fatigued about the job is the recruiters, because you will sit in shortlistings, you will shortlist 1,500 people, you will shortlist 800 people, and you are consistently fatigued, and the roles are waiting for you. You have like 5 roles to cover. You have, I don't know how many CVs to look at. And so sometimes when you sit back as a candidate, you expect that the recruiter is there looking out for you to make some small funny mistakes and expect that you're supposed to get away with it. Sometimes, me personally, I look at CV, I'm like, what is this? What is this? Just get rid of this. Yani, you take 3 seconds, look at a CV, it is not properly structured, it is not properly done. At some point, there was a time we sat down in an interview and we looked at the CVs, and we have had to go to the market again to look for us, because you find a CV and you're like, okay, it is not matching to the role. What is this? You have so many other things. So fatigue comes in there. And it also ties into the point of feedback, because if I have 30,000 applicants and I only want 25, Oyamo, what time do I have to give 25,000 people feedback, personalized feedback? I call you and tell you, Oyamo, you know that profile summary you've written there, it is not matching the role. I mean, I'm looking for someone who is an HR, and you have applied, you have a BBIT, or you have a tech whatever, and that happens a lot. I'm looking for someone with a certain skill. You know, completely feel that you do not qualify with that profile, but you applied, and you expect me to give you the same feedback that someone who has applied and unfortunately did not make it to the final level. Then it makes the dynamics shifts. Again, when it comes to salary and negotiation, just to brush through the comments, as Nikki has said, salary is not something that it's salary negotiation is not. It's an emotive thing. As much as we want us to keep it as very open, it is emotive. Some companies have not evolved enough to have salary structures. That is one thing you need to know. Even some startups. See, Pili, do you have a structured salary structure? Pili, you are here. Let me ask you. Do you have a structured salary structure?
We're working on it.
Sampo is here.
You're putting me on the spotlight, but we are working on it.
I'm sorry. I'll redeem you. I'll redeem you towards the end. So one thing you realize, Oyamo, is that a lot of companies, startups, so many, even I want to mention names, but there are some big companies in this country. They don't have salary structures. Whatever you negotiate for, whatever you bargain for, whatever their director says, that is Pili, and Pili looks like she can earn 500,000. Give Pili 500,000. This is Kagose. Kagose does not impress me. Give him 200,000. Because they don't have a salary structure, and that is a company doing their way thing. If Nikki is sitting in that company because Nikki has to get a paycheck at the end of the day, and there is no structured salary structure, we will have to negotiate about salaries. It goes without saying, we'll have to negotiate about salaries. You understand? And when it comes to cover letters and CVs, I have seen, regrettably, and that's why, I mean, if you look at, there was a session I once did on YouTube about interview preparedness and CV preparedness. A lot of emphasis on preparedness. we are dealing on people's money. It is people's money. We cannot just wake up and get out of the room and say, anybody who needs a job, even you, your CV looks like that. Yeah, you just come in. No. Come. No, we cannot work like that. Because I've seen, even to a senior level, there are people who you see their CVs and they are big profiles, but you cannot be able to even match the CV with the profile that you're looking for. So as much as you're saying that, yeah, we are learning and there's a little bit of improvement, then I'll also bring it back and say, from an employment perspective, number one, talent acquisition guys are most fatigued because of the number of applications they are looking at. Help a recruiter with a nicely structured profile, a nicely done CV, a presentable person. You can't come there and look shaggy. You know the way I'm now today. I have a tie. You can't come there looking shaggy. I have interviewed people. I interviewed ladies who came with, what is this thing called? Sleeveless top. Now you explain to me, how do you come to an interview with a sleeveless top, for crying out loud? As much as we are very forward looking, blah blah blah. How do you come to a CV with a sleeve? How do you come to in an interview with a t-shirt? I mean a t-shirt. Hata kama ni duka ya mzazi, I doubt kama unaweza enda kwa hapana oyamo hapana. Hatuwezi enda interview na t-shirt. Hatuwezi enda interview na t-shirt. Hiyo hapana. Hata kama ni standards tunashukisha, hapana. Nimekataa. Zima hii mic, nimekataa. Over to you.
Umesema tuzime mic. I see Oyamo.
Zima. We cannot go to an interview. A sleeveless top, how? You come and you're looking, and we send you an invite 1 week earlier. I tell you, Cynthia, we have looked at your profile and we think that it's good, so we are going to invite you for an interview 3 days from today. Boom. Cynthia comes and she's in a jeans and a white t-shirt that is coming from her head to her toe, and in a jeans that looks like, wait, unaenda as in unakam kudu at you, we are progressive. What do you mean progressive? This is not your company. Progressive what? Can you get out of here?
Kagose, but is it the outfit or the person behind the outfit? Anyway, I know Oyamo is waiting to respond.
First impression matters a lot. You cannot, even there's a discussion that you cannot have, there's some dress code you cannot have in front of your father, even if your father is as liberal as how, there are some ways that you cannot address your father. There's no way you can come to an interview looking the way you want. This is someone's investment money. Pili has come up with capital and put in a business, and she's looking for someone reputable. No.
I know Oyamo is about to say that some of your
Oyamo come over.
are outdated, so I'll hand it over to Oyamo and Cynthia to respond to the arguments that you made.
Right. Thank you. So there's really so much to say on what the two opponents have raised. I would like to start with, they've talked about that recruitment is evolving. And I would like to challenge, so is tech. You're saying that recruiters are facing the challenge of having so many people apply and having to go through all these CVs and stuff. We have tools designed to do such processes. And in this day and age, you could have AI go through this. You can integrate your systems with AI. Let it go through these CVs. Let it filter out. All right, that kind of helps you with the workload you're having. And
Oyamo, allow me to interject. Oyamo, let me interject. Billy, just allow me to interject. I'm sorry.
I had not finished my point. I know where you're going.
I will tell you for free. 99% of CVs in this market are not system compliant. They are not. You run them through the system and they give you things that look the way they want. So Apple on IT, we have tried, but again, you are just compelled to go back and you look at the system and profiles are not matching. You have to go back and pick physical CVs and just have to check by the nani anakanikama and who, by the way, fits this profile.
It's because why they're not matching is because you're tying that the way you're filtering to an outdated an outdated way. You're not tying it to the current trend. We in 2025, we're using a system that was used in 1990 to filter search. And I would like to, you say that this is someone's investment and how do you come dressed in a certain way? How is my dressing going to contribute to his investment? If I dressed a suit, a $1 million suit, will that add that 1 million to their investment? That should be the question. Whatever kind of dressing I have does not add or reduce anything to their investment. Another thing, you said when in an interview process, often more than not, the recruiter is trying to feel. Why bringing feelings in a recruitment process? We are here to look for competence. Feelings such a kwenyu. All right, let's separate, and that's the point even Cynthia was putting across. It is not about what you think, where you think I can fit or not, and that's where feelings come in. Look at what I have to offer, and stop being biased to that end. Another thing, you're clearly saying sometimes the cost of even laying off a wrong talent can be heavy on the company. Why do you have even end up with the wrong person in the first place? And this boils down to the point that I was saying. You recruiters recruit people based on confidence and not competent. As long as I can present myself well, as long as I can coach myself, I can look at the job description and know this is what they're looking. As long as I can present that with a lot of confidence, then I have the job. What about that person who is competent, that is not confident? All right, that's why you end up having the wrong people. So you're agreeing to a point that really your system is really outdated. Another theme was on feedback, back again on feedback, right? We have AI that can actually personalize messages. If today I wanted to talk to you, Eric, assuming a CV is my personality, right? If I prompt AI to give me a personalized message to you, it will do that, all right? So why not integrate AI with your systems and ask it to personalize feedbacks based on the CVs that have been uploaded? AI will go through each and every CV, look at Cynthia and say, Cynthia has applied this and this and this and that. Then it will tell you, Cynthia, you were not selected. Maybe you cannot go through the next steps because of this and this and that. So you guys are lazy. You just don't want to move, to shift to what is already available to you, because ChatGPT today is free. We've seen companies that integrate their systems with ChatGPT for free. Why are you guys not doing that? That is wrong on your end. So you cannot complain that there's a lot of workload on your end, whereas the tech is already evolving. As recruitment should be evolving, tech is also evolving, and it can solve all of these problems that you guys have been saying here. You're saying the conversation about money is a bit ish-ish. And I was just wondering, if you don't want to take me through all that process, then why don't you, again, you're complaining that you're having so many applicants. Because if you say today that you want a marketing manager, all right? Remember, depending on the level of the companies people have worked and also the experience, marketing manager could mean different things to different people, right? We could have an organization, a very small organization that only has one marketing person, and to them they're a marketing manager, right? We have an organization that has 2,000 people and they are marketing executives and there's a marketing manager. So when you're not clear, so what would separate is maybe the salary gap. So everyone who's been a marketing manager, maybe who thinks can be a marketing manager, would apply, right? That's why you end up with a lot of unnecessary applications. It's because you are not even doing what is required of you in the posting of the job application. Because if you clearly say that we are looking for a marketing manager and our budget is 50,000, if I know very well I am a good marketing manager, I fit all the criteria, but 50,000 is not what I'm looking for, I wouldn't apply. So that's also wrong on your end. Another thing you guys mentioned is that you cannot. There are more candidates than the jobs. We are not here to ask for you to employ everyone. I think that should be very clear. What we are here to ask is that whatever system is there to get whatever number of candidates should be fair, right? Should be inclusive, and should have a future, should look for a future that reflects for the world we're living in. Because the one we have currently does not do all that, right? Another thing, another point that I really wanted to stress on that you guys mentioned was on the structure, right? You hear saying that a structure, there's usually a structure in every company. Sorry, I didn't get that well. Sorry. Let me just exclude that. Yes. One point I really wanted to stress on was that recruitment is not an interrogation. Recruitment is a relationship building. It's like both parties are trying to seduce each other. All right. Remember, I'm not the only beneficiary when a company employs me. You also need me for your company to operate. If all candidates today decided to go on a strike that we are not going to be employed in a company that Eric Kogose works, then you will not have productivity. You need me, I need you. So it is not an interrogation. We are trying to build a relationship. All right? And when you're trying to build a relationship, truth be told, we've all approached people here. All right? Maybe for the men, for the women, I don't know. And even women who've been approached, there are compromises that are made. All right? There's a tone you use when approaching people. Right? There are so many factors that are put in place. And remember, you're also dealing with human beings, not machines. So the moment we shift that from making it like you're doing us a favor, and more like we're building a relationship so that we can have something that can benefit both of us. Because if you employ me, I will do the work for you, you'll get the money, I'll get the money as well. You'll get the work done, I'll get the salary. So it's a mutual thingy. It's not like it's one-sided. So when we shift the conversation towards that side, then I think things will do well. Another thing you talked about, the first impression. You sounded more like Jomo Kenyatta to me, because when you're talking about first impression and talking about ties and suits, who are you talking to? You're talking to Gen Zs. You're talking to people in 2025, all right? You'd have said first impression should be the words that come out of your mouth, not how you dress. At least that one would have made sense. But the first impression is a t-shirt. At that determines whether, just like I asked, is my $1 million suit going to add anything to your portfolio? But if you employing me as a salesperson and I am very convincing even to you, that's a good impression, because that means if I can convince you, I can then convince customers. But my suit, my t-shirt, come on. Jomo Kenyatta even died. Why are you alive? You're too old.
Oyamo has baptized Kagose as Jomo Kenyatta. But anyway, I see we are at the very top of the hour. I wish you would have budgeted for more time. But I love, Cynthia, do you have a rebuttal before we give the closing submissions? 1 minute.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. So, just to rebuttal Nikki Rote's point of view on, and also Kagose's on salary. Salary, I think when you're forming a company, there are things called salary surveys. This is where you HR team and also the recruitment team does surveys and does extensively to know where each role falls and which categories they do fall in. So saying that you don't have a structure, I'm sorry to say, seems like a excuse and not somebody not doing their job. That's why we have salary surveys. You're supposed to do that so that you can be informed and make informed salary choices. Just imagine a candidate has applied for a job and you don't know what budget or what that role commands, the salary it commands. Do you think salary is? Do you think they'll be motivated? Because salary is also a motivation to do your job. And another thing on what Nikirote said is that, using the example of startups, you say that there's a specific mindset you're looking for. What happened to the term called adaptability? Would you say you're not adaptable? Pili, Oyamo, Eric? I believe when a candidate is, unless it's not, you're not a very serious candidate, I believe when I'm applying for a job, I've gone through the job description quite clearly, done my research on the company, and it's quite clear, even within the interview, everything is put on the table. I'm able to know if I'm able to do this, or I'm able to be adaptable. Or you'll just come back and say that candidates are looking for money. No candidates, or most candidates, are in the job hopping aspect. Not everyone enjoys to job hop from one company to another. So I think those that should be considered in your future recruitment processes. That's all I had to say for now.
Thank you, Cynthia. So unfortunately, we have run out of time. But I want to pose a question to both the opposing team and the proposing team. So as you think about your final submissions, I'd like you to also, if you can respond to the question as well, please feel free. So I'll ask the questions, and then I'll allow we'll start with the opposition team to give their final submissions, and then we'll go to Nkirote and Eric as well, and then we will close it. I'm sorry, I know we've gone over about 7 minutes, but please give us 5 more minutes, and then we'll close it. So to the team that is for the motion, I know you say recruitment processes gatekeep talent, but what if those gates are there to maintain quality? Should now every applicant make it through just because they are passionate or different? Think about it. If you wish to respond, please respond. And to the team that is opposing the motion, you argue candidates must meet expectation. But what if those expectations are rooted in very outdated assumptions? Who gets to update the rule book? So feel free to respond to that as you make your final submissions. So at this point, I'd like to move to Oyamo, Kasiera, Nkirote, Eric, and then we'll continue.
All right. Yes, as we close, I also want us to pause and reflect on what recruitment is really about. To me, it's not about ticking boxes. It's about building the future. The coder from Mombasa who learned Python through Cyber Cafe, that mother from Kisii or from wherever end of the country returning from work after raising their children, that young graduate from Turkana who didn't go to Strathmore but has the ideas to change maybe logistics about Africa. Those are the people our current systems is often overlooking. And when we say recruitment must be fair and future ready, we mean it must reflect to the world as it as it is and as it can be. I hope that is clear, right? A world where people can learn anywhere, adapt quickly, and bring diverse life experiences to the table, right? If our hiring systems favor credentials over creativity, or connections over character, or maybe what I say, confidence over competence, we will keep missing out on the very talent we claim to be seeking, and that is quality. So let's stop getting the future. Let's open doors, not just for paper, for potential. Thank you.
Brilliant. Over to you, Kasiera.
So for my end is that the future of work
We lost you there, Cynthia. So I think we can go to Nkirote, and then we'll go back to you, Cynthia.
Okay. Thank you very much, Oyamo, Cynthia. Those are very important learning points. And yes, let me not cross over to the other side just yet. I want to say there's something Oyamo said about we're building a relationship. Right now, when we're recruiting, we are not building a relationship, we are dating. You're watching me, I'm watching you, so that then we decide whether we're going to build a relationship. I just needed to correct that because that was putting a lot of expectation on both ends, yet that's not what we're doing right now. We are dating. My closing remarks are the truth is, yes, there's still a lot of work to be done in the recruitment arena. There is still a lot of work to be done. And I want to assure you that that work is being done by people like me, by people like Agos, and by others who really do care about matching the right job with the right candidate. And eventually we will get it right. Forums like this, so we get to listen to each other more and more and go back and change how we're doing things goes a long way. But as somebody who has benefited from the evolving recruitment practices, Oyamo, I took a parenting break and I was able to get back. So I feel like I have really benefited from how recruitment has evolved over the years. But no, it's not yet perfect. There's still a lot of work to be done, and that work is being done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirote. Over to you, Cynthia.
Am I quite audible now?
We can hear you.
Okay. So, in conclusion, recruitment is the first impression of an organization, and right now that impression is often slow, biased, and outdated. If you want to build if you want to build teams that are diverse, agile, and ready for the future, we must let go of old practices and redesign and reimagine hiring with humans at the center of it. So let's stop gatekeeping talent and start redesigning the hiring process.
Thank you, Cynthia. Over to you, Kagose, aka Jomo Kenyatta.
Surely. Oyamo. God is seeing you. Jesus, Yesu alifufuka jana, then you start with such violence.
He's also watching you on the tomb.
Anyway, absolutely a great conversation, and the learnings are clearly, the writing is on the wall. It's either us as recruiters we stick to our ways and we perish, or the other side, it's either the candidate shape up or shape out. So it's a conflict between both. It's a conflict between both, because the recruiter's interest, of course, is to employ the best. The candidate is to get a job. So we need a middle ground where both of us can sit and say what is working well and what is not working. And the way Nikki has said is it's a progressive conversation. And I can tell you for free, by the way, as Oyamo say that the person from Turkana, an undergraduate from Turkana, also needs an equal opportunity as someone who went to Strathmore. I completely agree with you on that. And the learnings that you've said about the many things that you've spoken about, these are feedback that the conversation needs to continue and continue. And thank you very much, Pili, for this opportunity to have this conversation. I think it's a forum that perhaps we need a 3-day symposium pale Sarova to discuss him, because indeed Oyamo is very passionate about it. Sijui nani alimkosea. But either way, one thing I'll tell you for free is, indeed, Pili will tell you that recruitment is not an easy thing. As much as Oyamo, we say that we look like we are falling short of expectations of the many candidates that we get, then we also need to look at it from a recruiter side and say, what are the best things that I can do as a candidate to ensure that I steal the show? It's not one fit it all, whatever. There are so many dynamics. Nikki's approach of recruitment is different from my approach of recruitment, is different from Pili's, and organizations have different cultures, organizations have different processes, and there are so many dynamics that come into play. So we may not have a golden rule of what works best where. So it's about having many people into the conversation so that we can streamline this process. Otherwise, I wish everyone all the best. For anyone who is looking for a job, please, as much as possible, that Oyamo says, don't come for with a t-shirt. Please be at your best. Whether you come with a t-shirt and your best in that t-shirt, that is the best that you can get. Please be at your best. Let us not expect whatever. Let us not expect poor performance and get best results. It can't work. And for all of us who are in the recruitment side, the recruiter, recruitment is hectic. If you have a small company and you're looking at recruitment, that's why Pili is here. Pili is a recruiter. So get that headache of dealing with Oyamos here. To Pili, to have that Pili get that headache to deal with Oyamo, so that he gives you the best Oyamo in the industry. So if you're running a recruitment firm, then probably you'll talk to Pili, and Pili will having the industry will give you a better value for your recruitment processes. Up to that point, thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be here.
Thank you so much. This is exactly as I had anticipated it would be. Very exciting, very exhilarating. Thank you so much, Oyamo, Kagosen, Kirote, and Cynthia. And to the audience that was tuning in, John, Raphael, Bryson, Elizabeth, at least I can see these are some of the people who commented, and Duncan. Thank you also for being a part of this conversation. I don't know if your position has been swayed by either the team that is opposing or the team that was supporting the motion, but the goal was to start these conversations regarding the workforce so that we can each better ourselves. I love that one thing that everyone seems to agree on is that the process is evolving. And the good thing about things is that I think there's a quote that I really, really like. It's either you disrupt or you die, or you adapt or you die. So I love that both teams are on the same page, that the processes are evolving and so are we. And I think I'd like to end it there. Like Kagose has said, if you're looking for a partner, recruitment partner, HR partner in general, we are here for you. We'd be happy to help you find the best candidates out there. Thank you so much, Raphael. I see Raphael has posted something on YouTube. We are excited as well that you are a part of this conversation. We had a blast. And we hope that this is the start of many, many more similar conversation. I see somebody from my tech team anasema tufungue server or tufungue server tuone nani ameshinda. All right, okay, we shall announce the results. So keep it here, keep it HRBOX for more. This was volume 1, guys. Volume 2 will be out very, very soon. So allow me to end it there and say, have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. Bye.